Welcome back to the Stupidiots podcast. I'm Jesse. This is Whitney.
Hey guys.
Um, I know so at the time this comes out, the break had already happened, but the episode before this one was recorded before the break happened. So I'm gonna apologize now if we were just a little too busy with stuff to get around to recording anymore. But we're back. And for the time being, we're going to keep this going back on our weekly basis, I think. Or at most every other week. But I'm going to shoot for weekly, I think.
Yes.
Anyway. Last time we talked about candy bars. I'm going to give a little update. I talked about for my number 2 pick, Fannie Mae chocolates. That's specifically the Mint Meltaways was my number 2 pick. And talked about how it was a local thing, or at least a regional thing up where I'm from in Illinois. And I had told Shelby about that part of the episode on our drive the other day, and she apparently didn't know it was regional, and so she was very upset that she can't get any down here unless she orders it online, because she also loves the Mint Meltaways. But so we went up to Illinois, and I meant to grab some when I was there, and I completely forgot. It was a very packed weekend, had a ton of stuff to do, and I never got around to it. Next time I go to Illinois, I'll have to grab some. There's a Fannie Mae store. There's a whole store of just Fannie Mae stuff where I'm from. They got their own building, and I meant to stop by there, but I never got around to it. But in terms of another update regarding the previous episode going way back, on My Hero Academia, I'm caught up. I don't remember if I mentioned it on podcast or not, but I was only on somewhere in season 4 last time we watched, or during that episode, because I hadn't watched it in years. But I finally got back into it, got caught up. I'm fully caught up. I still have to watch the movies. I ordered all 3 of them, but only 2 and 3 have come in. The package for the first one got delayed, so I have to wait for that one to arrive. But yeah, I'm caught up on My Hero Academia. I've also since watched Chainsaw Man, Spy X Family. I'm almost through season 1 of Dr. Stone. I'm watching.
That was a really good anime.
I've started Jujutsu Kaisen, which I'll go back to after I finish, or at least get caught up on Dr. Stone. And on Demon Slayer, that's the other one I was going to mention. Demon Slayer, we're still on season 2. We're partway into the Entertainment District arc. I would be fully caught up, but I'm watching it with Shelby, and we only watch it whenever she's not doing schoolwork and she's not trying to go to bed, so that way she could pay full attention to it and not be distracted or fall asleep during it or anything like that. She doesn't want to miss anything or have to remember where we were and go back and fix it. Unfortunately, that just leads to us watching a couple episodes every few days, so we're moving very slowly. But
yeah, I get that. But what are we doing this week?
Yeah, this week, since I won last week's episode, our topic for this week is our top 10 favorite countries, or top 10 countries you would like to visit. It's important to note that out of the 2 of us, only one of us has left the country, and you only did it once. So I presume you didn't list the country you've already been to.
We'll see. We'll see.
Because I didn't think about making a rule for that, because I forgot you have left the country, so I'm just like, oh, never left the country. What rules could we possibly make?
Right. We'll see. So since you won, do you want to call the coin toss this time?
You can call the coin toss if you'd like.
Okay. Let's go at heads this time.
All right, Alexa, flip a coin.
Okay. You got tails.
Tails. All right. I'll have you guess mine first this time, because I think you know what my number one is, but I'm curious. For your number one, I couldn't pick between two, so I'm more excited to see what yours is. So I don't think mine's very surprising.
All right, perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and just jump into it. For your number 10, I picked Norway. I feel like you would want to go to Norway.
I almost put Norway, but I did not. My number 10 was Scotland.
Oh,
and
good.
For reasons that a couple other countries are also listed, but I don't have as much of an attachment to Scotland. But the movie Brave was good. And also, I just like seeing the castles and whatnot be cool. And I don't know, I really needed to reach 10 on the list. So that was when I was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind going to Scotland. Yeah, I needed to reach 10. I've been dreaming about leaving the country once, let alone 10 times. So there's
I want to leave the country and just constantly travel and never come back.
I don't know about never come back. I do like it here. But it's like, and there's one country that's absolutely on my bucket list that I have to go to before I die. And then there's a couple others I would really like to go to, but there's one that I'm like, I will like do it on my deathbed, ask to be even be buried in that country instead of here if it means I get to go. But just because I'm 25 and haven't left the country, at this point I'm just hoping to do it once. But yeah, Scotland was my number 10. I think also just randomly, I think I have your top two correct. In my I feel pretty good about them, but I don't know which order. So but I could be completely wrong. But I could be wildly wrong. Your number one could be freaking Guatemala or something.
Guatemala. I want to go to Geronimo Bay. Oh my god.
Right. But my guess for your number 10 was Egypt.
Incorrect. No, so it was kind of funny that you said this. No, so my number 10, I actually did put Canada.
Oh, dang it. I thought you wouldn't put it because you'd been there. Damn it.
Well, okay, there was this very specific reason I did put it on there. Is because when I did go up there, because the guy I went to go see didn't really take me a lot of places, I didn't really get to see the country. I didn't go see Niagara Falls like he promised he would take me. We ended up not doing that. Basically, everything that happened, he just kind of was like, hey, we're just going to a friend's barbecue every weekend. And that was legit the entire thing that was there. I just stayed in his house, did schoolwork for the entirety of the week. And then he would be off on the weekends. And then we would just go to his friend's house on the weekends. Legit, did not go anywhere.
I mean, to be fair, it is Canada. There's nothing to see there.
Plenty to see.
I'm poking fun at. I used to have a running joke with Soggy that I would say that Canada is just an empty void with nothing interesting. No, Canada's boring as hell. I don't actually have any problems with Canada, but I wanted to bring that joke back since it popped into my mind.
Interestingly enough, though, I was up there when Queen Elizabeth II passed away. So we had like all these cars coming by and they were shooting off fireworks and saluting goodbye to her or whatnot. It was kind of, I don't know, I kind of found it slightly amusing, not because she passed away, because when he came home that night, he was reading all the memes about it and he was like, I don't understand any of this. And I was like, what do you mean you don't understand it? And he was reading some out and I was like, do you not know the Queen passed away today? And he goes, wait, what? You live in Canada. What do you mean you don't know this? You should know this. This is like your history. I was like, what the fuck? But no, so yes, I did put Canada as my number 10 specifically because I didn't actually get to see the country when I was up there. I was kind of just stuck at his place the entirety of the time, and it was kind of stuck going where he wanted to go because I didn't have a key to his place. So, I mean, if I left, there was no getting back in until he got off work at 11 o'clock at night. And I wasn't going to do that, especially in a country I've never been in before and don't know anybody there except for him. So I was like,
I've seen Canada.
From the New York
side of from the New York side of Niagara Falls. I've seen Canada. I could be like, hey, that's Canada.
I really would have loved to see New York from the Canada side. That would have been pretty interesting to see, but no, unfortunately didn't get to go see it. So next time I go to Canada, that's definitely what I'm gonna go do. But yeah, that's why Canada's my number 10.
Speaking
of, we were talking about rules, but
for New York, I also like one thing I didn't put because it would be a lie, but like that basically would count here is anything on the western half of the United States, because Kansas is the furthest west I've been. So I haven't seen anything on the left half of our country. I obviously didn't put that on there because that's not a country, but like as much as I would never want to live in California, it'd be cool to like go to LA like for a trip at some point, just go to like Hollywood, see the Hollywood sign, all the cool stuff, or go go to Vegas, go to the Pacific Ocean, go to the Grand Canyon in Arizona, or the Four Corners would be cool. I don't know. I just like to go over there. I only know this half of the country.
I really want to go to Yellowstone. Just always wanted to go to Yellowstone. But moving on, so we can at least get towards some of the topper list. Number 9 for you, I put Brazil. I feel like you would want to go to Brazil.
That is incorrect. My number 9. This is another one that I was just like, yeah, it'd be kind of cool. My number 9 is Australia.
Ooh, okay.
I picked Australia because Hugh Jackman's my favorite actor.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason you picked it, guys.
The only reason. And it's one of those where it's like, I don't know, that country's a lot bigger than like. When I think of Australia and like other countries where people speak English with a specific accent, like England, Scotland, Ireland, Australia is way bigger than all of them. In terms of like actual size, like land mass at least. I don't know about population, I don't know those statistics, but like Australia is massive. Like not like United States massive, but compared to like Scotland and England and Ireland, it's way bigger. And I feel like there's a lot more to Australia than like what I don't know, than what I know. I feel like I know very little about it, other than the Sydney Opera House is cool. I'd like to visit that. And try to track down P. Sherman at 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney.
Yes. That's funny.
But yeah, I really need to just reach 10. Once after this, I have actual reasons for wanting to go, other than it'd be kind of cool. But anyway, for the number 9 guess for you, I put Mexico.
Incorrect. No, my number 9 is Italy. I've always wanted to go to Italy, and honestly, when I was working at the bank, I was actually going to take my mom on a cruise, which was supposed to stop in Sicily, and then you were going to go to Florence. And we were going to go take a class to like make pasta from scratch, and it was going to be so fun, but we ended up not going because COVID, and we didn't want to get on a ship with not knowing how the restrictions were going to be, and at that point I had lost my job at the bank, so we just couldn't do it at that point anymore. So Italy is definitely on my list because I really want to go.
Gotcha.
All right.
For
your number 8, sticking with like my theme, I put Chile.
That is incorrect. You're still 0-0 on the board, but it tends to be that way at the start of these lists. But that is incorrect. My number 8 is Greece. This one mostly stems. I wanted to go to Greece since I was a child because was this on the podcast that we mentioned this? But I don't remember. But as a kid, I was super into Percy Jackson. I did not read Harry Potter, but Percy Jackson was essentially my Harry Potter. I know a lot of kids read Percy Jackson, but and it got me super into mythology at the time. And I was reading a lot of books on mythology. I've since forgotten most of my knowledge, other than what such and such is the god of, for a lot of it. But at the time, I was super into it, and I still think it'd be cool to go see, or to go to, and especially since like it's one of those countries that's not like when you think of Greece, you think of ancient Greece, you don't think of modern Greece.
Right.
Because a lot of countries, when you hear their names, you either think of how they were a long time ago or how they are now, and Greece is one of those that you think of how they were a long time ago. But I don't know. I thought it'd be cool to see where that kind of stuff happened. Maybe visit some historical sites there. It'd be cool. And that fun I want to go to Greece has kind of dwindled a little bit over time. Just not because I don't want to go to Greece, but because so many other countries have popped up on that list with new reasons for me to want to go there. Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, Greece is my number 8. My number 8 guess for you, I'm not counting on it being there, but my number 8 guess for you was India.
Incorrect. No. So my number 8 is something you've already mentioned on yours.
Oh yeah.
No. So my number 8 is Norway. Just because it's a very beautiful country, and I've always just like loved everything about it, like how beautiful the landscape is, and apparently like how friendly the people are there. I just really want to visit and see what it's all about. I heard it gets extremely cold there though.
Yeah,
so
here.
I'm kind of not looking forward to how cold it's going to be,
especially if you live in Tennessee.
Oh god, I know.
If you lived in like Minnesota or something, you might be a little better prepared. But
right. But yes, Norway is definitely a place I want to go. Let's see, for your number 7, and I feel like I stuck with a theme that I should not have stuck with. But for your number 7, I put Costa Rica.
That is incorrect. For my number 7, I put the Netherlands. The Netherlands is not only is it like a cool country, but the primary reason is because that's where the part of my family that my last name comes from is from. About a couple generations before my grandfather, when they moved to the U.S. Except the weird part is I've not met like anybody past my dad, my uncle, and my grandpa on the part of my family that my last name comes from. But we had a family thing for my sister's graduation recently, and he told me he says he still keeps in contact with the people up over in the Netherlands, and they have like this family has this rule that like any people with our last name are welcome to stay with them as long as they're willing to stay with, or we're willing to have them stay with us if they come visit, and be like, hell yeah, I don't know any of my family, but it'd also be cool to see the country my bloodline comes from. So that would be really cool. And one day I would like to, it's not the top of my priority list, but one day I would like to be able to go there and see where my family comes from. Thought that'd be cool.
I think the Netherlands would be really cool to visit.
I've
seen like a very very small amount of it from this one YouTuber that I used to watch make soap. But she was like really nice, but like she was showing some of her like the islands that she grew up on, and like still lives at, and it was so freaking beautiful over there. I would love to go there too.
Yeah. Well, my number 7 guess for you, I'm really not confident in like any of my answers except for like the top couple. The other ones I just kind of guessed and tried to keep them different from mine. Just for the sake of variety. But my number 7 guess for you was China.
Incorrect. know. My number 7 is actually England. Just always wanted to go there.
Oh wait, shit! I thought I had that higher up on. I think I replaced it. Fuck. I thought I had that on your list somewhere, and I was gonna be like, at least I earned a point. But no, I fucking didn't. I guess I got rid of it at some point.
Fail. I've always wanted to go, especially like when Queen Elizabeth II was alive. Me and my mom just like kind of keep up with like the whole royal family and everything, just because it's like something to do.
I do not, so I don't even know who the main. I don't even know who's in the royal family anymore. Elizabeth was the only one I knew. There's some dude named Charles somewhere there. Oh wait, isn't there a Diana? Is there a Diana in there somewhere? What the fuck?
I don't know. You were just gone. I just heard it go cloop. Oh, like
Oh, did you disappear? Oh, yeah. It never hung up on me. What was the last thing you heard me say?
You never kept up with it.
Oh, I was gonna say I knew there was Queen Elizabeth. I knew there's some dude named Charles and some girl named Diana.
Yes.
I don't know what their roles are, but
very shorthand. Queen Elizabeth II was obviously the queen. Her son is now the king, King Charles. He was married to Princess Diana. She passed away, but during that whole thing that he cheated on her with Camilla, and now him and Camilla are married. And then it was just a whole thing.
Was Diana the one that died in like the 90s or something?
She is. She's the one that passed away due to a car wreck when her 2 children were really small.
Was that like in like the 90s or something, like, or maybe it was early 2000s, somewhere around there?
Yeah, it was in the 90s.
I know of that event. I didn't know the name of the person, but I knew there was some princess that died in a car crash.
Yes, it was Princess Diana. And then Charles and Camilla got married, which is a huge thing because you're not allowed to marry a divorcee if you're part of the royal family. But that he was the second one technically to do that. The first one being Elizabeth's uncle, who had to give away the throne because he married a divorcee. He had to give away the throne, and he was exiled out of England.
Interesting.
Yeah, so Queen Elizabeth II's father became king, and then when he passed away, she became queen. Now it's King Charles, and Queen Elizabeth did, for the first time ever, decided that a princess consort or a prince consort, which what her husband was a prince consort, would be named queen, and Camilla was named queen, so she is now a queen. And I was not happy about it, which is why it's so low on my list, because I'm still not thrilled about that. I did not want Charles to be king. I did not want Camilla to be queen. I don't think they're a good fit for the crown. I feel like Charles is like a very spoiled brat.
I can't name any opinions on this because I have no idea. I have no connection to any of this whatsoever.
I can't stand Charles and Camilla. I really wish the queen had stuck with her original plan to have William take over the throne, but unfortunately that did not happen. Anyway, point being, because Charles and Camilla are on the throne, that's why England is so far down on the list. Like, I still want to go, but at the same time, I really don't. But it'd still be interesting to see, especially because I am so, like, delved into the royal family, and the history of the royal family from, like, the Tudors all the way, like, throughout the years. I want to see the tower where, like, Anne Boleyn was, like, held before she was beheaded, where so many other people were held before they were beheaded. I think, like, during the Tudors times, one of the children was actually held up there before he was executed on treason charges. So there's just, like, so much history there that I would really love to see England just for the history aspect of it.
Here's it. They're talking about the whole royal family of England. Meanwhile, the only freaking world leader I can think of is Biden. And then... Oh, wait, no. I know the Canadian one. Shit. What was his name? Don't tell me. I know it. I know it.
I forget.
I know his name. What is it? Oh, shoot. I can't remember. I know it. There's a guy I watched on YouTube made a reference to his name the other day, and he didn't say who it was, but I was like, hey, that's the Canadian. Was the prime minister? Is that the name of their leader person? Prime minister, is that their title? I think.
Yeah, it's prime minister. I thought it was president, but it's prime minister. You should know. It's very easy.
Shit, I knew his name and I can't. It's escaped me. It popped in my head for a second. That's why I was like, oh, I know it, and I forgot. Fuck.
It starts with a T. Or
Trudeau. That was it. Trudeau.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
There we go.
Prime Minister Trudeau. Yeah.
There we go. The T really helped because I was like, it's one of those what's on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, I had no idea at the same time. That once I heard the T, it immediately popped in my head. Yes, I know his name. And then Putin, obviously, I just remembered him. And then I presume Kim Jong-un is still in power in North Korea or whatever. So. But those are more so because they're memes, more so than the fact that I keep up with the news. I'm not stating any opinions on any of them because I don't know anything about any of them. And I know some of the the meme stuff. I don't know actual facts, researched anything on anybody. So I'm not gonna state any opinions. It's just the people I know the names of.
No, I completely understand. But yeah, no, that's the only reason I really want to go to India. My God, listen to me. To England is because of the history. But moving on from that leaves me with your number 6, Jesse. And I'm really hoping this is on here. If not, I'm gonna feel like such an idiot. I felt like you would go to France.
That is a good guess, but it is not my number 6. My number 6 is England.
Interesting.
But not for your reasons. It's just because British people are cool, and I'd like to visit, I don't know, go see some of the stuff in England, and I don't know. It just seems like London seems like a cool city to go to. It's one of the most famous cities in the world. I don't know about highest population, but one of the most famous cities. And it'd be cool to. I would like to go see some more. I would like to go see more major cities around the world. Only world-renowned cities I've been to are Chicago and New York. I don't know what cities from the U.S. other countries know. I've been to Nashville, Atlanta, basically every city in Florida. And then I think that's about it in terms of major cities. Oh, Indianapolis and St. Louis. But I don't think those are known internationally. Or maybe they are. I don't know. I don't know what other countries know about us. But I know Chicago and New York City are big enough to where they would know them. But
right.
More into the other cities later, though. My number 6 guess for you was Scotland.
Incorrect. Oh my God. No. So my number 6 was something you already said. And no, you do not get a point. I meant off your list.
Oh, damn it.
Before you say anything. No, my number 6 is Australia. And reasoning, simply because I've always wanted to go to the Australian Zoo, because I always have loved Steve Irwin. I'm a big animal fan, so Steve Irwin's just someone who was a big part of my life growing up. We would always go sit down and watch the Steve Irwin documentaries and things like that. And then eventually, once he passed away and his kids started getting into it, we would grow up with Mindy when she was younger. Until she actually got married recently, about I think a year or two ago, and she actually has her first daughter. So that's pretty interesting to see that family line continuing. So I would absolutely love to go see the Australian Zoo, and see everything that they have going on there, their conservation projects that they have going on there, and just really dive into it. And the culture there is also pretty cool.
I'm such a fucking idiot. I can't believe it took me this long to piece this together. I knew obviously he had an Australian accent, but not once did I put together that he actually is in Australia.
Wow.
I just thought he was Australian, and I guess I don't know where I thought he was, because I definitely wasn't America. But I don't know where I thought he was, but that just now got pieced together in my head. And I realized the reason I thought England was on my list, I think it originally was, but I changed some of my answers to make them different from mine. I don't know. I don't think Australia was one of them, but I think England was originally like where China or India was, and I swapped them to make it different.
I find that so freaking hilarious that you didn't piece that together. You know, he owned the Australian too. Like he took possession of it in 1991, and in 1998 he renamed it to the Australia Zoo. And he was a zookeeper there for like a long time, and now his family still operates it. Mindy, I forget his son's name.
I never knew him.
Robert, that's what it is. Robert. I don't know his wife's name. Never did know her name. But they took over it, and they're still running it and everything, and they have like so many conservation projects going on. Bindy's already said that she's gonna train her daughter to be a zookeeper there as well. So it's pretty interesting.
Interesting.
But yes. That was my number 6. Going to your number 5. I actually get a point for this one.
Oh, no.
I really wish it was higher up on the list so I can get more points out of it, but I only get 1 point. I actually put for your number 5, I put Greece. I felt like you would get Greece.
Yeah, that was on my list, but that's obviously not my number 5. My number 5 was Egypt.
Ooh.
Egypt is one where it's another one of those countries where when you hear Egypt, you think specifically of not even just how the whole country was. You think of just the pyramids and the Sphinx. Let's be honest.
Right.
Like, well, one, I would like to actually go to modern day Cairo. I think it looks cool. But obviously, I would love to see the pyramids and the Sphinx. I would just love to go to see them. I know that's like probably a super touristy thing to say, but like in a country where like I hardly have any sand I've been to beaches, and that's the only place I've been to that has sand, let alone entire constructs out of like sandstone and whatever. Or sand. It may not be actually made of sand, but you know what I mean. Like.
Right.
That stuff really fascinated me. Once I got through with Percy Jackson, I was getting into mythology. After I kind of had my fix of Greek mythology, it moved over into Roman mythology, and from there it went on into Egyptian mythology. And I got super into like learning about mummification and the pyramids and the kind of just in Egyptian like hieroglyphics and stuff. And that was one of the things that kind of knocked Greece down a little bit. Was I instantly became way more interested in Egyptian mythology, right. Just because maybe just because like the traditions around like the things that we still have now around it are cooler, like having the pyramids and the Sphinx, and then like the hieroglyphics and hieroglyphic tablets and whatnot. Were all really cool, and I think that'd be something that I would really love to see myself. And then again, I'd love to visit modern day Cairo and see what that's like, because I know it's like a pretty cool looking city.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, so speaking of Egypt and like the hieroglyphs and everything, so weird, interesting fun fact that I do know. I don't know the specific dates.
Is this the thing about Cleopatra?
No, it's actually not. It's specifically to the hieroglyphs itself. So the way that they used to do the hieroglyphs, they used to like kind of jut out from the stone. And every time a pharaoh would die, they would destroy every single hieroglyph. They would make sure that person was erased from history. Like they didn't want any writings, they didn't want any hieroglyphs of that pharaoh. Like they wanted to completely destroy that dynasty. And they did that for like many, many years. So like every time a pharaoh died, destroyed all the hieroglyphs, did all this. Then one year there was a pharaoh, and I can't remember his name, but
Tutankhamun.
He was determined. No, I think it was before Tutankhamun, but he was determined to remain in history and not be erased like past pharaohs. That he decided instead of having the hieroglyphs like carved out to where they could easily be erased, that they would carve inside the stone, so it'd like be a relief of it. So they would like engrave it basically into the stone, so it'd be a lot harder to destroy. So I thought that was pretty interesting. The fact that he just changing that one alteration to how hieroglyphs were written in the past. We found out so much information from like the pharaohs and things like that. Also, another thing I find really cool about hieroglyphs. I can't read hieroglyphs, but what I do know is when you look at hieroglyphs, it's pretty interesting. You can tell when they write a pharaoh's name or like somebody's name down. Because usually the hieroglyphs are like in like a giant oval, and like whatever's in that oval is like either a pharaoh's name or it's like somebody important's name. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Also,
I don't know why I know that, but I do.
Also, the Pyramid Palace from Persona 5 is my favorite palace, and my favorite. Also, Persona 5 is my favorite video game of all time. I don't think I've said that on the podcast yet. So if anybody listening to this has played Persona 5, the Pyramid Palace is my favorite one in that game. So that one also, that's a more modern thing, like I'm interested in it. And also a random weird fact, this is the one I was talking about whenever you were saying yours, the one that popped into my head. That kind of blew my mind, and I looked it up and it was true. That when Cleopatra was born, that date is closer to the release of the iPhone than the construction of the pyramids.
That's insane.
I looked it up, and it's not. It's like a what was it, like a 20-year difference? But it was true, and I was like, that messed up my whole perception of time when I found that out. Like, I don't know. It's just, I guess, a testament to how old the pyramids really are. Like, even compared to the things in Egypt that we know, they're even ancient to them, I guess. Because Cleopatra to now is basically the same amount of time the pyramids were an age to when Cleopatra was a thing. So that's crazy. But anyway, my number 5 guess for you was France.
Incorrect. So my number 5 guess was actually Ireland. I mean, not guess. I don't know why I say guess. My number 5 was Ireland. I used to have a friend and she was Irish, and everything about like she would tell me about her culture and everything, like like where her parents came from, because like she was the firstborn in her family to be born here in the States, but she would like tell me everything about Ireland over there. And it was just really interesting. I also really like the Celtic mythologies. I actually have a book here about Celtic mythology, and like the Celtic language is like, it's just a really cool language. I would also love to learn that because that'd be pretty cool to learn. So yes, Ireland, very beautiful country as well. So I would love to visit.
Yeah. Also, did we guess France for each other's number 5s and we're both wrong? Was that what?
No, that was my number 6 guess for you.
Oh, I thought it was your number 5 guess for me.
Yeah, no, that'd be insane. No. So your number 4, interesting enough. I put down India for you.
Is it incorrect? My number 4 was Ireland.
Oh my god.
Ireland is because my dad's mom's side of the family and part of my mom's side of the family were from Ireland, but not nearly as recent as my dad's dad from the Netherlands. But my grandma has been to Ireland several times, and I've seen like a lot of pictures from her trips there and the castles she's gotten to go see and everything. It's just really cool, and I kind of made me want to go just seeing the pictures from when she went. It made me really. It made me want to go there, really, pretty much. I guess that's about all I have to say on that. But
oh my god, that just brought back Forrest Gump memories, and that's all I got to say about it.
My number 4 pick for you was Italy. I believe you said that earlier, so I got a point.
I did.
We're tied 1-1.
That's not. It's actually not. It's really not, Jesse.
What? It's really not?
It's really not. No, my number 4 is Scotland, so you actually get 2 points. Yeah, so Scotland. Scotland, not only is it a beautiful country, and you have to maybe be brave and all that good stuff that you said. There's specifically one area in Scotland that I've always wanted to go to. It's on an island called Skye, and it's this giant pool of water, and it's called the fairy pools, and it's like really, really blue and like really pretty down there. So I've always wanted to go to the Isle of Skye just to see the fairy pools. And it's right there in Scotland, so I was like, I still want to go. So yes, Scotland. So you got 2 points to my 1 point.
Well, if it means anything, I feel like I feel like at the end of this you're gonna have more points. I don't know. I say that every time. Well, actually, maybe not, because as I said, I feel good about my top 2 picks for you. I do feel good about my... Yeah, actually, never mind. But you could be, like... if I'm... Depending on what your picks are for me, you could still do this. Because I think...
I don't think so.
Depending on what you know about me, I feel like my number 1 you have to have on the list somewhere, and you haven't said it yet. So...
I am genuinely... Okay, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm genuinely hoping that you don't have my top 2. I'm genuinely hoping you don't have my top 2.
I have a very strong feeling. There's one of them at least that I'm very, very confident. I feel has to be up there unless I'm completely wrong about all of this, which I could be. I've said this before and then gotten it completely wrong. It's not on your list anywhere. So I guess I'm gonna stop that part now. I kind of hope I'm wrong too, because I want you to win an episode. Because I'm tired of having to be the one to think of the topics, because we forgot to mention ours at the top of this, and I honestly haven't thought of one. So
I haven't thought of one.
I'm honestly mostly hoping for a tie. Is what I'm hoping for. I want to get our tie thing started. As soon as we got an idea for what to do for a tie, we stopped getting them.
Exactly. No. So you're number 3.
Yeah.
I know I got this wrong, but I put Kenya.
That is incorrect, but I did have France for my number 3, so you did get a point still.
Damn. Okay. I was hoping for a little bit more points than that, but you know what?
Hey, it's a tie right now. It's a tie right now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, France is my number 3, because it's one of those that, like... It's one of those that when I was a kid, that was where I wanted my honeymoon to be. Was France, because that's like that's French being the quote like most romantic language in the world and whatever. And also I really want to see the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
The Eiffel Tower is like, it's again super touristy, but like all like I don't know. I would love to see as many world famous monuments as possible in person. Like the only like world famous monument I've gotten to see in person is the Statue of Liberty, unless you call the Arch in St. Louis as a world famous monument. Those are the only 2 things I've really... But I don't feel like the Arch is known that well on like the eastern half of the world. Statue of Liberty for sure. That's like probably the most famous American monument. But and even then, Statue of Liberty I didn't see until I was almost 20, or almost 19. Sorry, I was 18 at the time. And I haven't seen anything else since. I've been to the Arch several times. I'm from Central Illinois. I went to the Arch like 7 times, but because we would just pass it whenever we went to. We went to St. Louis for various reasons, but we would always stop by the Arch. But yeah, I'd love to see the Eiffel Tower. I'd love to go to France, try some French food and cuisine. Just stock up on baguettes.
Yeah, the baguettes.
No, I'm a big bread person. I love bread, so baguettes would be something I'd just eat the entire time we're there. But I don't know. France is also just like urban France. I don't know if I'd call it urban, but like a lot of the cities are, Paris. I guess specifically Paris. I can't think of a single other city in France. Looks very pretty. It's a city that looks very pretty to me, and I would love to go see in person. I would love to be able to go there. So that put it at my number 3. But Unfortunately, you're not out of the water yet, because my number 3 guess for you was Ireland. Luckily, it was 2 points off instead of 1. It was 2 places off instead of 1, so I only got 1 point. But
yeah, but unfortunately, this is another situation. Okay, another situation because I put China.
Oh, really? I didn't actually expect that to be on your list. I just put it on there for the sake of variety.
Yeah, so it's China. So you're up to 4 points right now, and I don't like that. Yes, China. I've always wanted to go see China. Just the culture in China was always like a big thing to me, and my sister, and like pretty much all Asian culture. So not just China, but like specifically it started in China. So I really wanted to go to China to like experience the culture there, see like some of the street vendors that they have, and like get some food. It would be cool.
Mulan's a good movie.
Mulan is a good movie.
I just got every country. I just gotta follow it up with insert Disney movie here is a good movie.
Yes. Unfortunately, you're at 4 points. I don't like that.
Hey, you still haven't gotten a perfect guess, right, on mine or anything?
No, I have not.
You could do it here.
I highly doubt it. My number 2 for you, which funnily enough, I was gonna put the Netherlands, but then I decided to go with New Zealand.
That's another one that I almost put on here, and I actually, kind of looking back, would probably put it lower on the somewhere at that lower end of the list, especially because I think this is New Zealand where it was at, but I was a fan of Lord of the Rings as a kid.
Yes.
I say as a kid because I even bought the extended edition. Extended editions are the best versions of those movies if you haven't seen them.
Oh, like, they really are.
I know they're super long, like 4 hours long or whatever, but it's worth it. Like, it's the best versions of those movies. I haven't watched them since I was probably like 13, but I remember I loved them at the time, and I wanted to go to New Zealand for that. But I haven't gotten around to rewatching them yet because Shelby hasn't seen them since she was like before she can even remember. She didn't remember like anything about it other than Gollum, and that's just because he's a popular character. The game that fucking sucks that just came out.
Yeah, like I couldn't stand that. I was like, why does he have so much hair? He doesn't even look like Gollum. He looks like some weird like elf boy.
I haven't played it, but I hear people hate it. So I honestly didn't even know it was coming out until like a week before it came out or so. But
same.
Yeah.
I only found out about it from like Soggy's boyfriend, and I was like, "What now?"
I would kind of like to go play like the Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War games, but
ooh,
I want to watch
Shadow
them.
of War.
It's what?
Played the Shadow of War. It was pretty good.
I want to watch the movies again first. I saw the Hobbit movies in the theaters. I worked in the theater at the time that was it Desolation of Smaug came out. I don't remember which order the movies were. Or what all the movies.
Yes.
I worked at the movie theater when the last one of the 3 came out. Whichever one that one was. Out of the Hobbit trilogy.
Say that again?
But I worked at the movie theater whenever the last Hobbit, like the final Hobbit movie out of the trilogy came out, but I don't remember.
Okay. But I believe it was the Golden Army or Battle of the Five Armies. That's what it was.
Maybe that's what it was like. Desolation of Smaug is the only one I remember the name of. So.
Okay, so there's a Hobbit's Journey, I think is the name of the first one. The Desolation of Smaug was the second one, and then the Battle of the Five Armies was definitely the last one.
Yeah, let me see here. Actually, I think it was Battle of the Five Armies because that came out. Those are all only a year apart. I thought they were like a couple years. Damn. Yeah, it was definitely Battle of the Five Armies because I started working at the theater in 2014. So there's no other one it could have been. So yeah, you're definitely right on that. But I think that was the last time I saw a Lord of the Rings movie was when I saw that movie in theaters. So it's been almost 10 years since I saw anything from that franchise, because I did not watch Rings of Power because I heard people hate it. And
Rings of Power was not bad. I'm actually really excited for season 2. There was quite a few things in season 1 that were really good. Now, there was one thing that was really stupid, and we're not going to mention it, but it was a pretty good show.
I know nothing about it. I want to rewatch Lord of the Rings trilogy extended edition before I get back into anything with the lore. But that's just a big time sink, so I want to do it whenever I can, like, really focus and watch it and appreciate the movies for what they were.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, like, wait, were you guessing my number 2? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, I guessed your number 2, which was New Zealand, which was incorrect.
Yeah, my number 2 was Italy. Italy was my number 2. Did you guess that at some point?
I did not. That was on my list.
I couldn't remember. I knew I had gotten it right for you, but I couldn't remember if you had guessed it for me or not. Italy is pretty much exclusively because of the food. Italy is the only country that I will say definitively that I gotta throw out here and say I'm a big cheeseburgers and hot dogs person. I just love them. But I will admit, Italy has a better cuisine than we do. The only country I think has a better cuisine than American food. And I'm I don't know, I'm just a big American food person. I like my freaking burgers and fries and my hot dogs and whatnot. But Italian food is my, like, if I were to make a top 10 list for my favorite foods, just Italian cuisine would be the number 1 spot in general. Except maybe peanut butter and jelly. But both me and Shelby both love Italian food to death. It's all different types of Italian food. I would love to actually go to Italy and have like actual Italian, like literally Italian food from Italy itself in Italy. And I'd just go there and just go to different restaurants for all the different meals. Also, going to Rome and seeing the Colosseum is another thing I would love to do. Another world famous structure I'd love to visit.
Oh yeah.
That's also another major reason. But yeah, those are the 2 reasons: visiting the Colosseum and eating everything.
Wow! Don't you want to go see the Leaning Tower of Pisa?
Oh yeah, that too. Just the food is always like my main thing. I want to go visit those monuments as well. In between going to the different restaurants, just trying all different types of Italian cuisine, whenever from pasta to freaking Italian subs and everything. Yeah, Italian's the only one that's on here pretty much exclusively for the food, and the food is so good it puts it all the way up at number 2.
Damn.
One of my I say my grandma, my grandfather, my dad's wife, because he got divorced and remarried long before I was born. This was my dad was in high school. She is part of an Italian family, and her pasta, oh man, it is delicious. She's from her family. Her family lives in Chicago, but she moved down over to Central Illinois, where my grandpa was for some reason. I don't remember why, but yeah, and that was my first taste of like authentic Italian cuisine, because she's literally Italian, and her family like runs Italian restaurants in Chicago. I haven't met any of them, but yeah, Italy for the food. All right, on to the final 2. Time to see whether I'm right about the top 2 for you or not. Especially if I'm right, if I'm having them in the right order, or if I'm completely wrong and neither of them are even in your list in the first place. My number 2 guess for you was Greece.
Incorrect.
Fuck.
Honestly, I kind of forgot to put Greece on the list. I thought I did, and I must have taken it off at some point.
Oh, fuck.
Slightly glad I did. You do still get a point, though, because my number 2 is France.
Okay, so it's 5-2. So it's all down to whether my number one is right. And if it's not, if your number one pick for me is right.
So absolutely love everything about France. Want to go? I want to see the. Oh my god.
Eiffel Tower.
I had its. No, I had its name in my mind, and now I forgot. Holy crap! We were talking about so much stuff that it just completely wiped my brain. And Notre Dame.
The bells.
What's that church? No, not the bells, but specifically the church.
Hunchback of Notre Dame was a good movie.
It is a good movie. I want to go see that. I want to go see that specifically. I want to go see that church.
Yeah, I know what church you're talking about. I don't remember the name.
I know. I completely friggin' blanking on the name. The one from the movie specifically. I want to see. Also, Eiffel Tower. Eiffel Tower would be pretty interesting to see. I want to go eat at the restaurant that's inside.
If you visit France and don't go to the Eiffel Tower, if you at least once, if you go multiple times, you don't have to go to the Eiffel Tower every time. But if you go there once and don't go to the Eiffel Tower, or at least see it, what are you even doing?
I mean, I'm not ever gonna go to the top floor of the Eiffel Tower. Forget that.
Oh hell yeah, I am.
I mentally, physically cannot do it. I would have a heart attack before I get up there. But I do want to go to the restaurant that I think this floor or something like that. Or the 50th floor. I can't remember. There's a restaurant somewhere inside the Eiffel Tower I want to go to. Interestingly enough, so did you know when this Eiffel Tower was being made in 1982, everybody absolutely fucking hated the tower. They wanted to destroy this thing as it was being built. They fucking hated it.
I did not know that.
But the guy, Mr. Eiffel, whatever his first name is.
I believe it was John Eiffel.
Yeah, John Eiffel. He was so determined to not have his tower destroyed. Because it was supposed to be a symbol of hope and uplift. Because I think they were going through at the time they were going through a very hard economic thing. So the World's Fair was coming, and they wanted to build something that would inspire hope and whatever. So they were building the Eiffel Tower, but everybody thought it was so ugly and such a monstrosity that they wanted to destroy it. Mr. Eiffel did not want it destroyed, so what he did, and it was the craziest thing, he straight up told them, we're switching from screws, so instead of screws holding it up like it was supposed to, we're switching to rivets, and these rivets will allow it to never come down. So he was so determined not to have this tower come down that he switched his building materials to make sure it would last forever. I thought that was pretty interesting because I always thought that the concept of a World's Fair was really cool, and I would wish World's Fairs were still things today, but they were so expensive back then to put on a World's Fair that there weren't that many. I think the United States has only had, 50, if not less than that. Hold on.
I've got to trust you on this. I don't know anything about the World's Fairs. I'm not saying I don't know anything about history, but I don't know anything about French history.
They've had about 30. We've had 30 World's Fairs hosted here in the United States, which was pretty interesting. Specifically why I mentioned that is because you now live in Tennessee, and there was a World's Fair in Nashville back in 97.
Hey, that's when I was born. Oh, never mind. Not when I was born.
Specifically 1897. And so it was a really big thing. Knoxville also, where for those who don't know me, I live in Knoxville. Remember when I told you about the Sun Sphere when you came down here? And I would really love for you to see it. That was actually our monument, similar to the Eiffel Tower. They decided to build a monument like that here in Knoxville, and that's what we built and back in 1982 for one of the last World's Fairs that was taking place in the United States. Was downtown Knoxville. I thought that was pretty cool.
Huh.
So yes, just because the whole World's Fair history and everything like that, French culture and things and artwork and everything that's down in France. France is like super huge art culture. That's my number 2. I want to go to France more than anything.
Interesting. So that brings us to the number 1 picks. There's a lot of pressure here, because if you get my number 1 right and I get yours wrong, then you tie up the whole board.
Oh god, this is so much.
And also get your first perfect guess.
What about the perfect guess? If I get this wrong, I'm gonna be so upset because I feel like this should be your number 1.
Yeah, like I feel like this one is a pretty one that you should know. I feel like you should get this. I don't think it's that shocking whenever I say, unless there's like something I don't know about me that makes me give off extreme vibes of wanting to go to some other country I didn't list.
All right.
Let's hear it.
So, for your number 1, I put Japan.
My number 1 is Japan.
Yeah.
There we go. We got your first perfect pick. Yeah, I feel like we had to have talked about this
like so long ago about like countries where we wanted to visit. And I was like, I swear to God, Jesse said he wanted to go to Japan.
Yes, that was the whole reason I picked this topic, was just so I could talk about how much I want to go to Japan. Like, so bad.
Here's the thing, though. Even though I got that right and we're tied right now, you still have my number 1 guess to guess.
Yeah.
So this is so nerve-wracking.
It is very nerve-wracking.
I want to go to Japan.
But I want to go to Japan for all kinds of reasons. One, they have just a lot of their nature is really cool. Like, I like their freaking cherry blossoms. Their Japanese maple trees are also really cool. I'd love to see some of their nature. I'd love to see some like ancient shrines and stuff from Japan. I'd love to go to fucking Tokyo. Seems like the coolest city on the planet. Go see all the cool stuff they've got there. And I'd love to like visit some of the, I don't know, iconic locations from around there. Big Hero 6 is a good movie, I guess. I don't know if that really counts. It's only half Japan, but
half Japan, the other half San Francisco.
Yeah, exactly. It's San Francisco, but Japan is it looks so cool. There's so much stuff I want to visit. I'd love to visit the freaking Hachiko statue. I'd love to go to Japanese restaurants. Like go to like an actual like Japanese ramen shop would be cool. I want to go see like different. There's a lot of things from Japan, like media things from Japan that I'm a big fan of. And I would love to go see go stop by like the headquarters. Obviously, you can't like go inside in a lot of them, but like the freaking Nintendo headquarters over in Kyoto. I'd love to go like buy it and like get my picture taken over by there, and stuff like that. I can't even. I'm like struggling to even process all the stuff I want to do in Japan. There's just so much stuff that's in like urban Japan that is not here. Like, I would love to see some of their like cool vending machines. I'd probably spend way too much money on gachapon machines and pachinko machines or whatever, just because they're so cool. And which there are some gachapon machines in like malls around here actually, but like it'll be way cooler just because I'm in Japan. And I would love to. I don't know. I can't really. I've made like lists. I don't know where I've kept them, but like of all the different places I'd like to visit in Japan. Some other more sadder places I'd like to walk by without bringing the mood down too much. It'd just be something that'd be neat to see. And then like some of the mountainous areas would be cool, and the beaches would also be cool to go see. I don't know. Japan's just a place that there's all kinds of stuff everywhere I want to go. There's not specifically the urban part or specifically the countryside and nature part or the ancient parts. It's all of it. There's so much stuff I would love to go visit and do in Japan. I would need like a month to get through everything I want to do in Japan. Also like Disneyland Tokyo and Universal Studios Japan. I'd love to go there too. Especially if they ever bring back the freaking Attack on Titan seasonal park they had. Ugh. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there. I think that's the most I'm going to go. But I guess it's all about whether I got your number one right or not. For your number one... What?
What do you think my number one is?
For your number one, I put Japan.
Damn it. Why did you have to ruin it? No, it's not Japan. Oh. No, definitely not. Yeah, it's Japan. We're so predictable. Yes, Japan. Japan is amazing. I do want to go to the sakura festivals that they have.
Yes, that's another thing.
I would also like to go to like one of the restaurants where like the geisha visit. And have cool like them perform their music and their dances and stuff. That would be really interesting to experience. I want to go to ramen shops, like you said. I know you were talking about the vending machines, but did you know that they also have what they call stand-up ramen shops? And it's not your typical like you go in or like you just walk up to it and like order from like a person. No, it is a vending machine that cooks ramen for you. And I thought that was so cool.
That's the kind of stuff I want to go see in Japan. It's just the kind of weird, goofy stuff that I wish we had here.
I know. I'm like, man, that's so cool. I don't like beans. I hate beans. I'm gonna be honest. I hate beans, but I've always wanted to try their sweetbreads with red bean paste in it because it sounds so delicious. And I thought it would be like this tart type of treat. But a few years ago, I actually watched somebody make it. And they're like, no, it's actually a very sweet treat because you put a bunch of sugar in it. And I was like, oh, interesting. So I really want to try red bean paste and one of their like buns. And I want to try dango. And I want to try sake.
The Godzilla statue I want to go to as well. It's not that big, but it's still another thing I want to go to. I'm a big Godzilla fan.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I'm going to see the Hachiko statue as well. Because obviously, Hachiko is
That's
like
an amazing story, yeah.
That movie, if you haven't seen it, you need to watch Hachiko.
Yeah.
For anybody listening, that movie, like, I will watch it, but the ending 100% every single time makes me cry.
It's one of the few dog movies that actually does make me cry. Because like dog movies, like it's a thing that dog movies make people cry. That doesn't happen to me. Like I love dogs, I love animals, but it's very hard for a movie to make me sad cry. I specify sad cry because I've happy cried to movies several times, but sad cry is very difficult to do. I could count on one hand how many movies have ever done that, like maybe 3 movies, but that was one of them. It was the only dog movie to actually make me cry. Like a lot of the other sad dog movies never did it for me, never got me to cry. No, Marley and Me didn't get me to cry. Freaking, I'm struggling to think of other dog movies, but you know what I mean. Marley and Me is one of the staple ones. But
yeah, I don't know. I always cry during dog movies.
That one did get me.
That one is so freaking sad because it's like based off a true story.
Yes, exactly.
It's Marley and Me also. I feel like Marley and Me is also based off a story, but like
a lot of them are. A lot of dog movies are, but this one's like one that's like the. I don't know, like, and I guess a lot of them are technically based off the dog's personality, but this one's like, you know, really that's a story about that just shows the devotion of a dog to its owner, no matter what.
Yeah.
Whenever the owner, like, yeah, it's. I don't want to spoil anything, but or if you want to just like read their books about it, if you want to read the book or something, you gotta just like learn this story in a proper format. That's not just like a paragraph on Wikipedia, like the actual story, like was the whole thing. It's very moving.
It's just such a good thing.
Yeah.
So yes, I would absolutely love that. I would love to see Tokyo. Honestly, I'm stating this now. What's the date? Today is the 31st of May. Today's the 31st of May, and I'm gonna say, if not by May 31st of next year, me, you, Shelby, and like I'll figure out somebody so I'm not third wheel, but me, you, Shelby, and somebody else are gonna go spend a week. Are gonna go spend a week in Japan experiencing all this. I think it would be really fun as friends to like go experience something that we're so strongly devoted to wanting to go see.
I've been so devoted to wanting to go to Japan. I literally hand taught myself how to use chopsticks, so that way I could go to a ramen shop and actually eat the ramen with chopsticks.
Yes.
Because I didn't learn it as a kid. Whenever we got like Chinese or Japanese food, which is very rare, we didn't have Asian food at home often at all. If we did, it was like I could count on one hand how many times I had Chinese food whenever I lived at home for that full 18, 19 years. But whenever we did, we just used a fucking fork. But which, like, in a lot of ways, it is a more practical way. But like, it's a whole different experience eating it with the chopsticks because it's the way they eat it over there. And
right.
it's more of a culture thing more than anything else. That's just neat to do. Another thing I remembered I would love to do in Japan. This would obviously be just me, because neither you nor Shelby are interested in this stuff. But I am a fan of wrestling, and I would love to go to like a New Japan Pro Wrestling show. But Wrestle Kingdom would be nice.
Actually, as much as I'd hate to say it, I am actually more interested in that one than like American wrestling. I would go to that. I don't like American wrestling.
I would love to, like, there are several wrestlers I'd love to see live. Wrestle Kingdom that's their biggest show that they have. It's held in the Tokyo Dome every year in January. That'd be the one I would love to go to the most, but any of them would be cool. Just to see some of the best wrestlers from Japan, like Kazuchika Okada or Hiroshi Tanahashi, anybody like that would be cool to see in person, because I'm never going to get that opportunity again unless they come to America for something and happen to be going around the Nashville area.
Right.
So that would be another cool thing to do, but that just popped into my mind as well. But yeah, I had a feeling we had the same number one on this one. It is bittersweet though. It is bittersweet because I was kind of excited to get a tie for that brief moment before I realized I was probably right for your number one. Yeah. Like the something about the way, like the moment I realized that I was like 99% sure I was right was when the way you said, "So why do you want to go to Japan?" Just the way you said that, I was like, oh fuck, I'm right. It is Japan first. Just the way you said, I knew you were gonna, like, just something about the way you said it made it sound like, why do you want to go to Japan? We'll get to why I want to go later. And I was like, fuck, I'm right. I was really hoping we would tie, but at least it was a lot closer than I thought it was gonna be. But
it was so close. We were 3 points off just because you got the perfect score.
If anybody doesn't know, the picture that you see on the Stupidiots logo representing me, the one on the left, if you can't tell, it's me, and you can see the Pokeball, obviously, which is from Pokemon, which is Japan, not even just Japan, the most successful media franchise in the world. Also, the style of my avatar is from Persona 5, a game that's also straight out of Japan. If that gives you any hint of how much I love like Japanese media. Also like animes from Japan, so there's also a ton of stuff there I'd love to go see and find. I want to see how much like because anime is growing in the United States. Obviously, it's like now compared to 10 years ago. Like the fact that I could just literally today walk into Walmart and they've got a whole thing for like anime T-shirts and figures and anime sections in the movies and DVDs. That wasn't there like 10 years ago for me, at least not the Walmarts I went to. You'd have to go to Hot Topic or online to get the DVDs most of the time, unless you had like a
right
store that like specialized in that kind of stuff. It wasn't a And you might be able to find like Dragon Ball or Naruto, you know, like the big ones, but like, I walked into Target the other day and they had some. I forget what the name of that. What was the name of that movie? I can't remember, but it was a movie, a couple movies that were from Japanese studios that were not Studio Ghibli. There was one movie, I can't remember the name of it, but it was from the people that did Your Name. Did you ever see that movie? That was a good movie.
I did see that.
There's a movie from that studio and a couple other anime studios, and then they had like collections of from other animes. Like they had like Jujutsu Kaisen and they had like Black Clover, but like ones that are popular still, but not like people who don't watch anime know what they are. And it's like that was just a kind of a testament to how much it's growing over here. But like in Japan, that's been popular. That's been a thing. That's where it comes from, and it'd be cool to see the kind of stuff they have over there for that. And especially Pokemon stuff. I know they have Pokemon stuff everywhere.
Co-Mix Wave Films is who made Your Name.
It was more specifically the director. I don't remember. It could have been the same studio for all I know. I just remembered it was.
Director Makoto Shinkai.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Makoto Shinkai.
That'd be neat to see. I'd love to. I don't know. I'd love to go see all that kind of stuff they got going on over there. To just Japan in general.
Have you ever seen When Marnie Was There?
I have not, but I know of it.
Oh my god, you have got to watch it. That was like the saddest movie I have ever seen. And I can't believe that it was like produced. It was a Studio Ghibli movie, and it was so freaking sad. I'm like, what is this? Like, it is so well done, and like it's that art style. You know, they kept it classic. But the story was just like, I don't know. I feel like it was one of their best movies.
The only Studio Ghibli movies I've seen are like mostly like the really popular ones, like Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service. I've seen Castle in the Sky. I forget if I said that or if it was just Howl's Moving Castle. Ponyo. I've seen Ponyo. I feel like there was one other one, but I don't remember what it was. Oh, Secret World of Arrietty.
Yes, it's like When Marnie Was There. It's kind of like the Secret World of Arrietty with like that art style and everything, and that story kind of driven that way. But speaking of Castle and not Castle in the Sky, I'm stupid. House Moving Castle specifically. Those are based off books. I don't know if you knew that, but House Moving Castle is actually a book, and I thought it was interesting because there was actually a second and a third book. And in the second book, it's actually called Castle in the Air, and so I thought Castle in the Sky was like the second film or like the second book or whatever. But Castle in the Sky was like a completely different thing. But Castle in the Air was pretty interesting because it was about a castle, kind of like Castle in the Sky, that actually was Howl's Moving Castle. And I thought it was pretty cool because you got to see more in depth what happened to Sophie and everybody else from the first film or first book. They actually ended up having a kid, and I'm like, I really want to see Studio Ghibli make the second and third book into an actual movie, because I would absolutely love that.
Didn't Hayao Miyazaki retire, like their main director guy? Did like the big ones?
I thought he passed away. I don't think he just retired. I thought he passed away.
Yeah. I just remembered something was like supposedly like one of them was his last movie. I don't remember which one it was, but
I see.
I didn't grow up with Studio Ghibli movies except for Castle in the Sky. That's because my aunt got it for me. She's more interested in that kind of stuff than my parents were. but then I didn't see the other ones till I was like in my teens.
Oh no, he's still alive. I don't know why I thought he died. Yeah, he was the co-founder of Studio Ghibli.
I know they have other directors, but I thought I heard that he had retired. But also, I don't. This definitely hasn't been said on the podcast. I forget if I had told you this or not. But Shelby's first tattoo was a Studio Ghibli tattoo. It was a. You've seen Spirited Away, right?
Yeah.
The little fuzzy creatures that are carrying the thingies. The little black fuzz balls.
Yeah.
Those
little charcoal ash things.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Do you know the scene where the one gets like crushed by the rock, but then like picks it back up and keeps going?
Yeah.
So it's that scene. And it's got the one holding up the rock, and then there's the other ones holding the glowy rock thingies. It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
Isn't that tattooed on you, or is that tattooed on Shelby?
That's on her. I do not have a Studio Ghibli tattoo. I only got 2 tattoos so far. I'm planning out my whole arm before I get any more, so that way I make sure I know where I want everything, so that I don't use something and want something else there later.
She has Reptar on her as well now, doesn't she?
Yes, she has the Spirited Away one on one leg, and it was more specifically, it's Tommy Pickles in a Reptar onesie, holding the screwdriver on her other leg. And then her and I both have the Triforce from Legend of Zelda on our wrists. And then I've got a lyrics from my favorite band on my arm, and she's got a couple other ones that are small. But I want some other bigger ones, like some that have actual color to them. But again, I want to plan out where everything goes before I get them, so that way, because once you get them, I ain't moving them. So.
once you get them, they can't move.
Yeah, like I'm 99% sure that where I want to go, but I want to get a Pokemon tattoo, but I'm not sure what I want to get or where yet. So I want to figure that out before I solidify anything.
Could you imagine, like, way distant in the future, that like people, when they get tattoos, they're no longer like tattoos, so it's like, I mean, it's still on your skin, but you're like able to shift it around to where you want it on your body.
You just have like this little like hologram that opens up like a character customization menu. You just like you can like drag it around, click like the box in the corner, and like shrink and grow it and rotate it.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
Change the font for the text tattoos.
Yes. Now, I know we've been talking about this for a while now, but moving on from all this talk, because we still have to pick our next topic for next week.
Yeah.
Specifically, you do.
Yeah. I've been meaning to think about it during this whole time, but I kept getting sidetracked on what we were talking about. So our topic for next week, in my opinion, after thinking about it for a while, in my opinion,
by that he means
should
by
be,
the last 2 seconds.
and according to my thoughts, I believe the
You're
topic. I just kind of I'm struggling to think of topics. So my topic for the next episode is going to be.
Oh my god, everybody has that one friend who stalls like absolute garbage. You're that one friend for me. Everybody else could think of like a quick topic or like do something like off the top of their mind.
Okay, I've got one. I initially thought of one, but I'm going to change it to something very similar. But it opens up the door to having so that way I can sort of reuse it without reusing it. Have it like the other half of the topic later, so that I don't have to do this again. But my pick for next week is our top 10 favorite actresses. So female actors, whichever term they prefer. And we could do like the male one on another occasion. I don't know why I want to do the female one first.
I feel like we already did that though.
No, we haven't done that one. I know I haven't done that one.
I feel like we at least did the male part of it.
No,
or no, we did them both together. I think we did them both together.
We have not done those.
I guarantee we'll go. Let me go to Spotify real quick.
You've done sodas, slasher villains, dog breeds, cereal, cartoons, supervillains, superheroes, and fast food restaurants.
I swear to God.
Oh, and candy. And countries.
I swear we did like our top 10 favorite actors or actresses. See if I can even find Stupidiots on here.
Come on, it's not that hard to find.
We came up really quick. Maybe we were talking. I swear to God that we were talking about our favorite actors and actresses during one of these.
We probably did during the superheroes and supervillains one.
Maybe that's one.
Because I know we talked about the actors that portrayed them in movies a lot.
Probably. I don't know. All right, so top 10 actresses.
Yep. And then I can save top 10 actors for the next one, or male actors.
You know, I just want to point out for everybody listening, Jesse has legitimately won every single one of these.
Not every single one.
Since we've decided about the...
Oh, the draw thing?
The draw thing, you have won literally every single one of them.
I know, I hate it. I want to get a draw on these. Maybe we'll both get 0 on the next one. That's part of what I'm hoping. So I try to think of something we haven't even talked about.
Maybe.
Like, this is one that has so many different options.
Do you have anything else, though, to add about anything? Like, maybe, like, anything else about, like, Japan or any of the countries that you have listed that we haven't touched on or anything?
Whenever we come back from Japan, Shelby's bringing a kimono. I'm making sure we buy one.
I would absolutely love a traditional kimono, not like the ones that they sell now. Let's get that straight, because there's two differences in kimonos. You have the ones that were traditionally hand stitched and handmade, and then now you have the ones that are mass produced. The ones that are mass produced are not as expensive. They're still expensive, not as expensive. Whereas like the ones that were hand stitched, using old traditional ways, those cost like thousands upon thousands of dollars, and that's what I want.
Yeah, I'll probably just go with the mass produced one. But
if I'm gonna get a kimono, it's gonna be one of those like really nice fancy ones.
I don't think Shelby will care for either one, just as long as it, like, she's like me, where we don't like to spend a ton of money on our clothes. She it's like if it looks nice and it's not that expensive. Like for her, I remember when she was shopping for her wedding dress, I had to convince her to like not go to the clearance cart exclusively for dress options.
So if we do end up going to Japan together, like all 4 of us. You, me, Shelby, and my imaginary friend, who I don't know I'm bringing. I would absolutely love for us to go before, like, just as the Sakura Festival is gonna happen.
Oh yes, I'd love to see that.
And get kimonos and stuff, and actually attend like a traditional Japanese version of what attendees.
I would love to do that. That's another thing I'd like to see. There's so many things. I can't even think of them all, because it's hard to think of them all at once, because I didn't think about it beforehand. It was just one that, like, whenever I picked the topic, I was like, yes, I can talk about Japan.
Honestly, looking at their kimonos, at least at this one store, that's not bad. So the yukata obi, which is like the belt, is about $28. Yeah, a lot of the stuff on here is actually not that like expensive. They have a full set with like the whole robe and everything, and the bow, like the belt, the sash, and everything. $102. That is not bad. That comes with the sandals too.
Oh, neat. That's the only pair of sandals I'll ever buy. It's like traditional Japanese sandals for the outfit.
Yeah.
I hate sand. I'm not a sandals person. I'm just either shoes or barefoot. Pretty much for me. I get the appeal of sandals. They're just not comfortable to me. But I will definitely, and I'll wear slides if I like just need to run outside for something. But I will never wear them like out anywhere. I only wear them if I have to like run out to the mailbox and don't want to go put socks on to put on my shoes. But I will wear Japanese sandals to complete the whole fit in that situation. Because it'd be weird just be sitting there in my a freaking whole Japanese robe get up, and meanwhile I'm just sitting there in my hokas.
Okay, I would absolutely love to have one of their kanzushi, though, which is like the hair combs that Japanese women usually put in their hair during the festivals and stuff like that. I would like to have a kanzushi. The ones on here are so freaking cute. They have one that's like red, and I'm gonna send you a picture of it. It's red, and it has like red and white plastic cranes on it. Hold on. Let me see if I can get a good picture. This one's sold out, unfortunately, but it looks really cute.
Oh yeah, that is cool. And like the origami cranes on there.
Yeah. I thought that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yes. I mean, that's
I had a feeling when I picked it that we would have the same number one.
I know.
Yeah. Again, it is super bittersweet though, because I really thought we were going to have a draw. I didn't think I'd get as many of yours right as I did. Because I think literally every single other, except Ireland. Ireland's the only other one, because I remember you talking about your love of like the Celtic lore and whatnot. You've talked about that in the past with me, so that one I knew. But all the other ones were just complete shots in the dark, and it just happened to be right. I was just like, which countries people want to visit? Italy, that's one of them. France.
Italy.
England. I went with China and India and Mexico because those were not going to be on my list. Mexico's like cool and stuff, but Mexico's more so for the culture than the actual like location itself. Mexico's a location. I don't really have much of a desire to visit as much as I do just like I love learning about like Dia de los Muertos and other things with the culture there, but I'm just not really interested in going anywhere there, if that makes any sense.
Right.
And then India and China, I don't have. If I had to go to one, it'd be China, because you got the Great Wall and some other cool things with the culture there, but just not really high up for me. Those two I just kind of threw on there because I knew they weren't going to be on. And India, those three I threw on there because I knew they weren't going to be on mine, but it adds some variety. I just hope one of them was right, and one of them was.
Yeah.
I hate that I got that many random guesses right. Japan and Ireland were my only like actual one, and Greece. I thought you would have Greece, but I didn't get a point on that one.
No, you always had it though. Right.
All right. Well,
I think that's gonna be it for me.
Yeah, this is close to our longest episode. This is, I think, the second longest. I think one of them was longer. Let me look. Yeah, the first one will still be slightly longer. This is a little longer than the cartoons episode, which was our second longest. So, yeah, thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you guys in the next episode. Even though I'm super rusty and it's been weeks since we recorded one of these, I still got it right. I didn't say watching. Thank y'all for listening. AquaLeaderJesse on YouTube. She's Fairy Fox Gaming on YouTube or Twitch. Yeah, check us out on there. Be sure to leave a positive rating if you enjoyed. Share with people you think might also enjoy this, or if you think they'll enjoy hearing about girls that appear on screens for a couple hours in the next episode. So, thank you guys for listening. Catch you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.